Everyone knows that we face a lot of global challenges as well. And if we take a look at some of the challenges that we face, we see smart city solutions. We hear about that. It's becoming a buzzword. More and more people are moving to the cities, and it creates a lot of problems and issues in the cities. And big companies like IBM, which we're going to meet later on, is entering into this field. We also have seen Grundfos. We heard from Rasmus this morning, talking about it's not just about the water pump anymore. We also need to focus on how to create the solutions around the product. So how can we ensure clean water and sufficient water to everybody? And what about intelligent traffic systems? With more and more cars on the road, how can we make sure that everybody can move through the city in a good way? Who are going to solve all these problems? That is what we talked about this morning. So the new innovation actors is not just for the big companies and to solve their problems. They can also be engaged in solving the societal issues, the global challenges. And the important players in this field will be the new startup communities. We heard from Christian this morning, who is an important player in this field. And we have heard from the new designers. And they have many different competencies, and they play a new role. But it's also important that the multinational corporations engage in the experimental partnerships with new innovation actors, because no one can really solve this alone. We need to work together in new ways. But this is also a place where the public sector needs to be involved. Many of these problems require large-scale innovation systems, and it's often too complex to run this at a national level. So there's signs pointing to us that cities and metropolitan areas will play a significant role, and it's crucial that they get involved in solving these problems. Another important thing is that because the kind of innovation that is needed here is not incremental innovation, because then we would just have made a tender and asked a company to solve these problems. These are so complex problems that we need more radical innovations to solve them. And everyone knows, especially big companies, that radical innovation is a risky business. It's not something that is at a low cost or easy to do. It's quite risky. So therefore, we need the cities to take considerable risk and accept the potential lack of results. Luckily, there are cities around the world that has already entered into this field. This is a picture from San Francisco. And the mayor of San Francisco set up an office for the, I think if I recall correct, it's called the Mayor's Office for Civic Innovation. And the whole idea is to engage the civic society, the citizen-led innovation, to get that to be part of finding new solutions. And one of the interesting things that they are doing in San Francisco is that they are collecting big data around the traffic problems they have in San Francisco, and they have involved companies like Google and startup companies and designers in order to solve these problems. It's a very interesting example. And also here in Copenhagen, the city of Copenhagen has started to buy into this whole idea of the city as a laboratory for experiments, for social experiments. And actually the city of Copenhagen, they approached us last year and said, we have a problem that more and more people are moving to the city. Back then it was 1,000 people every month, new citizens. And that puts pressure on the infrastructure, it puts pressure on the environment as well, because we will see more cars on the road. We'll see more bikes on the bike lanes. We even have congestions on the bike lanes here now. And how do we solve these problems? And they actually approached us because they were planning to make a tender just to ask for somebody to come up with a solution for having broader bike lanes and more intelligent traffic systems, traffic lights. And that might very well be a good solution, but they actually came to us and said, we are worried that we might jumping to the conclusions here. So they actually asked us if we could help rethink the whole problem to get to the bottom of what is really the core problem here. And we did that together with Copenhagen, and now they launched a process of finding a better solution for the many bikes and cars in Copenhagen. But in order to come up with new radical solutions, it's also important that we have new innovation models. This is a picture from DARPA. I don't know if many of you know DARPA probably, but to those of you who don't know DARPA, it's American Defense Department's their innovation unit, and it has been around since 1958. And back in the 50s and 60s, they developed a very sustainable model, innovation model for producing radical innovation and breakthrough technologies. Of course, this is for the military and the defense, but the model has actually proven to be very, very good, because they have a high track record of breakthrough technologies, more than probably any other organization in the world. And within the last 5-10 years, more and more organizations, also public organizations, have been looking into whether we can get inspired by this model and apply it to solve other problems as well, more societal problems. In the UK, the Technology Strategy Board, which is an independent unit affiliated with the Ministry for Business Innovation and Skills, they have been inspired by this model and is now applying it to solve societal issues. And here in Denmark, we also have an organization that has been inspired by this model. And that is the CLEAN organization that we will hear from later on. So the whole point of this afternoon session is to shift the focus a bit more to see whether design and technology can be applied not just to find new solutions for big companies, but also to find solutions to societal issues, and how can we all get involved in that.